Hey you, welcome to my channel. My name is Jean Edam. And welcome to the first episode of In My Feminine, a series focused on all and everything femininity and just a safe place where you and I get to explore the ins and outs of girlhood. We have our very first guest with me. Drum roll.
Hey everyone, my name is Adebanke, but I'm known on YouTube as Adebanke OG, so subscribe to my channel as well. It's so lovely to be here. I'm so excited. I love Jean so much, and I'm excited for this topic as well. Let's get it.
Yeah, no, Banka is a girl who I'm deeply inspired by, and I cherish her so much, and I'm so glad that she's the first guest on In My Feminine. Before we begin though, I just want to give thanks to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The Lord, thank you for this episode. Thank you for this vision, and have your way. And I dedicate this episode to you.
Period.
We're going to be doing a fun drink of the episode, and I got Banka a cocktail, but it's 0% alcohol.
Okay, thank you, because right now I'm on a drinking hiatus.
Yes.
And I got you this lime drink before.
I've never had it. It's like a Mexican drink, right?
Yes, I really like it. So I was like, I bought a drink pop.
I don't know how I'm going to open it. That's the tea. Anyway.
Jean is rascal. Yeah, rascal.
Cheers. I like it. Ooh. Do you like it?
Are you crazy? He wants to kill me, guys.
Today's topic is called Scared of Being Seen in the In-Between. It's a very convoluted topic, but we're gonna break it down. Guys, we're also gonna be getting ready. I guess, first of all, what does femininity mean to you? Guys, I'm using the Refy primer.
And I'm using the Fenty Beauty primer. That is, when I think about femininity, I think it's a very broad thing, and I don't think we can necessarily put it into one size fits all or into one box, because I think it means different things to different people.
That's right.
For me, femininity means strength. It means softness. It means authenticity. And I know all these things sound so cliche, but really, when I think of me being in my feminine, I think about me not letting life circumstances to change my softness, to change how I've always come across in the world. Yes, I think just not being hardened. When I just equate softness to femininity, and I'm not saying that's based off of physical. I mean just internally, being soft on the inside to yourself, to other people, with the way you approach things, with the way you approach life. I think that's what femininity is.
I guess for me, I honestly never really known what it meant to be feminine. Growing up, I was never really what people would describe as feminine, but I felt like a call to be more feminine, or just enter into a space where I feel comfortable being feminine. By the way, I'm using the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter as a skin tint. So to me, I feel like femininity denotes a kind of gentleness, like you were talking about softness.
Yeah. That
could be in your words, how you approach people, how you deal with situations, because I believe that there is actually a strength when it comes to gentleness. There's a strength that a mother has,
yes,
right? Because with life in general, the chaos of life, there's just a strength that comes from being gentle with your children, with your partner, with just things in general, just how you handle situations. So I feel like femininity is just being strong.
Yep, I agree.
Right? And being safe, I think, also lies into feminine, and being vulnerable. I think, I think vulnerability and strength go hand in hand, because I feel like people don't know that, because people just think okay, if I'm feminine, I'm just I'm not supposed to be strong. I'm just supposed to be just soft girl. Soft guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be an aspect of femininity, just leaning more into your softness and being more girly. But I feel like there's just a strength from within a feminine woman, which is why I always love to refer back to, what God talks about femininity, which is something I've just been asking, Lord, what does femininity mean to you? And I feel like in Proverbs 31, everyone knows about the Proverbs 31 woman. Guys, I'm actually going to pull Proverbs 31 up just so we're based in scripture, and we actually have an example of what God denotes feminine woman to be. Yes.
Also for my foundation, I'm using NARS. I use 2 shades of NARS.
What shade do you use?
I use Macau and I use New Caledonia. New Caledonia is darker.
So there's aspects of a feminine woman. Number 1, a virtuous wife. He says the heart of her husband safely trusts her. So we know like a feminine woman is someone who you could trust, right? And it says so he will have no lack of gain. So a feminine woman is a boss. Like,
of course,
there's someone who like the finances. She's the one who actually like manages it. From what I'm reading, right? And she willingly works with her hands. So a feminine woman is not just a woman who sits on her butt and just waits for things to happen, waits for her husband to bring things. She willingly works with her hands. She's like the merchantship. Like, guys, this, like, no, when I read this chapter, I'm just like, damn. She says she brings food from afar. There's a strength in going out to work with your hands, to bring stuff out. He said she also rises while it is yet night. She's just like a boss-ass woman. She provides food for her household and a portion for her maid servant. So there's almost like she's generous. She's generous. So yeah, that's just what I feel about a feminine woman, I guess, from scripture. And I guess just bringing it back to the topic of being scared of being seen in the in-between. What do you think? What does that mean to you, especially in this phase of life? And guys, for concealer, I'm going to be using the Rare Beauty concealer.
Being seen in between. Like when you say in between, what does that mean?
It could mean anything. So in between in your
Guys,
Guys,
I forgot my freaking contour, so I'm using jeans on, which I'm scared of.
Guys, don't be scared. It's the dark. I mean,
scared of being seen
in the in between. So it could, I mean, we could equate it to like, let's say content, because I feel like it's such like an on-brand topic. Being content creators, seen in the in between, or even in your relationship with God, that in between. I guess for me, like I would explain an in between from where you are to where you want to be. So that middle part. Okay. I feel like there's a fear.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. Okay. Speaking about that, because child, I say right now in my life, I'm currently in that in between in a lot of different areas of my life, and it's not enjoyable at all, because apart from just the fear that you have, there's so much like doubt as well, because you're just thinking, will I stay in this place? Will I remain in this place for a long time? Like, how long am I going to be in this place? Or like, even with my career right now, I would say I'm in the in-between, where I'm like, sometimes I feel stuck. It feels like, how am I going to navigate this? How am I going to move with this? With content as well, I feel stuck. It feels like, oh my God, my videos are not doing well. Oh my God, this is not happening for me. I'm not getting reached out by brands. I'm not going at the pace I would like it to be. Like, it's a real thing to be scared, to be seen. Like, and I think I spoke about this like in one of the videos I did recently, where I spoke about how I wasn't necessarily scared of putting out content. I was scared to be seen trying. And I think when you're trying, like, people are actively seeing you fail with that. And like, you getting 200 views and all of that is not failure, by the way. But when you've set such high expectations, and in the world that we live in, where 200 views is not seen as anything tangible, it feels like a failure. And then other people seeing that, it's one thing for you to see it, but other people seeing that, it's like, I edited this video, I did this, did that, put in the work, and then this is what is yielding. It's definitely a lot, and it's a very real fear. But one thing that I've come to understand, or one thing I'm learning to understand, is that you cannot get out of that in between without forging ahead. Like, you can't escape it. I was watching a YouTube video, and she said, like, plenty of people are scared of being seen because they're scared they're going to be seen as cringe and this and that. But like, you are going to have, it's a rite of passage. Like, this comes with the territory, even with like career as well. Like, before you get to those big boss jobs, you're going to do jobs that you are going to hate. It's going to suck. The pay is not going to be good. It's not going to be great. Like, it's a rite of passage. And again, for some people, it's different. That's just the way life is. But just remembering that your journey is different. But as long as you are trying every day to still forge ahead, you are going to get to where you're going to. But as for the fear, I can't say that it goes away fully.
You have to like get through it. To the other side, you actually have to get through it.
Yes, it's like exactly. It's like trying to get to another island, from one island to the other. There's no other way except you have to go through the water. You have to. You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice, it's so real.
You don't, because no plane is going to come there. No, like you sink or you swim. So I think that's what I would say.
For blush, I'm using the Tower 28 blush, and I think for me also, just like in regards to content, because this is a very like unbrand.
Is this a darker shade of makeup?
Yeah,
this is sad, because it's barely showing on my face.
I'm crying. So for me, like being seen in the in-between, especially when it comes to content, I left Instagram for 2 years, right? And back while I was on Instagram, I was very like consistent. I was doing modeling, I was doing everything. So I had my identity in that, right? So going off of Instagram and God just doing like a factory reset in my life and my identity, I remember coming back to social media and I'm just like, whoa. Like it almost like feels like you're irrelevant. I was like, oh, so people will really move on with their lives. Like, no one cares about you for like that, you know? And so for me, like right now, it's almost like rebuilding from the bottom, right? And it's like, I feel like Instagram shadow banned me. Like, why are people who follow me not actually seeing my posts? So Instagram.
I think that's really for lots of people.
Yeah, it's very weird. And like, I don't know what to make about that, but like me, I'm just like, damn, like before when I would post, like the engagement is crazy, the views are crazy, which like those are things I didn't really like pay so much attention to, but like it was nice to see, you know what I mean? And now it's almost like, damn, it's very humbling, but like, I feel like just like gaining an identity in Christ just makes me realize that this is not necessarily for me, right? Like obviously I'm a creative. I love to create. I love to do all these things, but like, it's also for the glory of God. Everything I want to do right now is just to glorify Him, right? So I'm able to glorify Him in creativity as well. So for me, like, that in between it's very humbling, and there's a little bit of fear of like, is this really what I'm called to do? Especially what you were saying when you're posting and like you're getting very low engagement. You're almost like questioning your passion, like, Lord, is this really what you called me to do? Like, why are things not like taken off, right? Because at some point it was very easy. What was the video? Like it was easy to get those kinds of engagement, but now that I'm like starting from scratch, I almost like don't even know what to do. So for me, that in between is very rocky, but regardless of how I feel, I don't really necessarily have the fear of man when it comes to like being cringe. Like, it's like I feel like since I've been that way, so like I don't really care necessarily about what people think, but for me, what I think, it's almost like not necessarily like you're better than that, because like, you know what I mean? But it's like you put so much effort, you put so much work, and it's not being perceived or not being rewarded. So it's a little bit weird.
It is.
Yeah. And also like comparing yourself to people. Comparison is a thief of joy, so I try not to, but it's like almost like, especially people in the same niche as you as well, right? And for me specifically, when I started, they weren't doing that, right? And like going off and coming back, it's like, whoa, this person is already doing this. Like, damn, they're getting their brand deals, they're getting this and that, they're flying everywhere, and it's like, damn.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so real.
Right?
That is so real.
So, okay, I guess another question of scared of being seen in the in-between. Do you think it also plays a role in your relationship with God? Scared of being seen in the in-between in your relationship with God, in your walk with God, especially as it's on social media, posting, stuff like that, like in your walk with God?
I think, okay, I want to understand the question further. In my walk with God, am I scared of being seen as a Christian?
No, of being seen in the in-between, because obviously like we're called to like, righteousness, holiness.
Yes, okay. Well, let me tell you guys the truth. Before, maybe like 2-3 years ago, I was scared of being seen in the in-between. I was scared of what people will say, what people will think. If I post this and do X and do Y, will people say this? But I had to ask myself, who am I living for? Number one. And don't get me wrong, as Christians, we are called to higher. I'm very aware of that. I don't ever want to like say, you know, we can do this, there's grace and stuff like that. No, when you walk with God, there is a new standard. That is the truth of things, right?
Yeah.
However, with that being said, sometimes it's going to take you a while to get to that point. And kind of like, the world is fun. You know, you want to do crazy things, you want to go party, you want to, take a drink here and there, you want to do all these things, right? But you have to remember that these things are going to cost you your relationship with God. And take this from somebody that is still very much struggling with some of these things and is still walking, but it is going to cost you. And when the Bible gives us instructions, it's not necessarily for God, because God does not need all these things, right? It's for our own well-being. Like, God has put these things in place to protect us. God has put these things in place because He knows that these things are detrimental to our living and just how we navigate life. So when you are sinning or not sinning, don't think, oh yeah, God will see you. I'm doing it, so I'm not sinning. It's not for God. It is for you. It is for you and for your relationship with God. Anyways, I say all of that to say I had to really have a serious conversation with myself, like, who am I living for? A lot of the things that I would post or not post, I was doing it more so for people. So for example, if I went for a party, I didn't post it. I was not posting it because, oh my God, what would people say? But I was going for the party, was I not? So who am I deceiving? Am I deceiving God? Or am I, like, do you get? There are people I know that will post all the Bible verses on social media or post their work on social media. And again, this is not coming from a place of judgment, because we are all, walking. It's an everyday journey. You pick up your cross every day. However, I think with social media and, the relationship with God, you need to be very authentic outside of social media. Like, what are you doing in your outside life? When people are not seeing you, how are you living your life? And right now, I don't really care for what people think about my walk with God. And let me not say I don't really care, but I think what I'm looking for is I want to know that I'm being authentic both outside and inside, right? So what I'm posting on social media, like, even if people think, oh, this babe is not a Christian, whatever, like, it's okay. I know the kind of relationship I'm having with Christ, right? So I used to be scared of people seeing that journey and that walk. But ever since I've had that conversation with myself, ever since I've been able to be very honest about where I am with my relationship with Christ and the things I need to work on, I'm not scared of being seen again in that regard. And I think I've kind of started applying that to other areas of my life as well. Even with social media, being more vulnerable. I'm not, there's a now reduced fear of people seeing that part of my life, because this is my real life. Like,
that's right.
This is what I'm currently going through when I turn my phone off at night, when I'm not posting on social media. So I hope I answered the question.
I think I got it.
Yes. Okay. I hope you got it too. Again, I'm not calling you to unrighteous living. I'm not doing that. It's a walk with Christ. We should try every day to do best. I am trying every day to do best. However, I do think that you should not be scared to be seen trying.
Yes.
Because there are people that are not even trying at all. They don't give a heck. Okay, Jesus is coming tomorrow. No problem. Don't come with me. Don't come with me. You get? Some people, they don't care. They say, I'm going to hell. I bet. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. So you trying, don't let anybody take that away from and live a very authentic life. If you are scared to post something on social media, you probably should not be doing that thing.
Okay, I like that. I think for me, it's like just slightly different, because I feel like scared of being seen in the in-between my relationship with God. I think for me, there was just a whole season of transformation and isolation where God basically kept me away from social media and all these things, and coming back. It's like when you used to live unrighteously, right? And if you come back as like a renewed and changed person, it's almost like, wait, what? Okay, it's like, okay, she's brand new or something, And so she's brand new, like, okay, like he was with, And so for me, it's just about, like you were saying, just being authentic in your walk with God, and being like the fear of man is so real, but I fear God more than I fear man. So for me, posting authentically of myself, like sometimes, I'll post about I don't know, my devotions or what God's teaching me. But sometimes I honestly try to do it when I feel called to do it. Yeah. Like, especially with my social media, it's like because I don't want to do it for clout as well. Like, exactly. No, I want to do it if God has told me okay, this thing you should share it, then I'll share it. Yeah. And also there's like she was talking about, there's a standard of living that comes when you are walking with Christ. And it's a high standard, I'm not gonna lie. And especially being a leader in church as well, there are certain things you could do that a regular person could do even within the church that you can do, just because you're called to higher, right? Wasn't it the saying, with great power comes great responsibility? So I'm almost responsible for not necessarily a holy living, but
it is that.
Yeah, it's that. I'm called to live righteously and stuff like that. So I try as much as possible for that to be my authentic. So it's whether on camera, whether off camera, who you see on camera is, who I am off camera. Obviously, there's a lot of things that have been cut out of my life that I can't do anymore. But it's let's say you see me doing it, you know what I mean? It's guys, grace, mercy. Grace and mercy. But I feel like that in between of like, coming from the world, coming from lukewarmness to like a holy, fire, spirit-filled living is hard.
It is
It's really hard, especially in a public eye when you choose to like put your, you know, your business out in public. It's really hard because the people who were in your past are looking at you like, girl, what?
Yeah.
What's going on with her? But again, I know who I am trying to follow, right? And the world is not, the world doesn't care for him.
Exactly.
But as we are Christians,
if that wasn't clear,
we were following in his footsteps, and that comes with a lot of backlash. That comes with a lot of judgment because people don't understand him. They don't understand his love. And obviously, like, Christians have misconstrued like God and Jesus to people, which is, you know, like their feelings are valid. That is valid, but yeah, there's just that in between. And also just like being a Christian on social media, like just when it comes to like worldly brands, just like brands, like,
oh my
like
God.
how is that, like, do you have any take on that? Being a Christian on social media.
It's just hard, man. Like, I think, and I'm only going to talk from my own experiences because I think like even me, right where I am right now, I'm still struggling to let go of certain things or even down some of the like songs I enjoy and some of the things that I'm doing, I include in my content. Some of these songs are very explicit. Some of these brands, they are very clear on what they stand for and stuff like that, and it goes against what you might believe in and stuff. So it's hard, guys. Like, I don't want to sit here and tell you do this, do that, when I know that this is something that I'm still struggling with as well. I would just say, just have discernment and like be ready to obey. Like,
Obedience, guys.
Let me give you guys one example. I was reached out to by a brand. It's an underwear brand, and I had worked with them before. They sent me pajamas, which was great. But the next campaign that they wanted me to do was to model the underwear for them. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, like, I love this brand. It's an amazing brand, but I know that this is not what. Like, the discernment was heavy. You are not going to pose in this underwear.
When
like,
he calls you out, it's like,
no, you're not going to do that. And immediately I was like, whoa, like, yeah, my heart, it was not even up for debate. Like,
there's no bargaining.
There's no bargaining. I called one of my friends, she's also Christian as well, which is very necessary too.
Yeah, surround yourself with.
Yeah, so I called her and I'm like, babe, this is what is going on. And she's like, Baka, we both know what the answer is. Like, she encouraged me, like, I know that you're scared. I know you're a smaller creator. You want to work with this brand, whatever. But Holy Spirit has called you out on this thing. I reach out to the brand. I tell them, hey, I really love the brand. I love to work with you guys. But is there any other thing I can model? I can do pajamas. I can do other things. But I'm not comfortable showing my underwear. And they were able to send me the pajamas. I mean, I'm not saying like the campaign. Some people might see it and be like, oh, this is you guys. I'm a work in progress. Okay,
work in progress.
Work in progress. But I think that was one of those cases where I knew like.
The discernment was heavy.
It was heavy. And I was like, okay, what is more important? My relationship with God or how I, blow on social media? Because I would have gotten the engagements like mine.
Especially with like sex selves.
Exactly. But it would have been
at the detriment of your relationship with God or like just that obedience.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So I'll just say like, be discerning, know the things that, like, it's okay to not do what everyone is doing. Like, it's actually fine. You can sit down one hour and nothing will happen to you. Like, there are certain sounds that I will absolutely not use
on your,
because I'm like, okay, this is too much. This is too much. I don't know if that answers the question.
That answers my question. I feel that way too, because it's just like, you could say no.
You can.
You have the liberty to say no. Like, you don't have to say yes to everything. And that's the thing. In the space that we're in right now, there's a lot of things that people want to do to get to where they want to be, right? But it's like, for Christians, you have such a, like, especially when you're yielded, because you could be unyielded Christian, which is fine. You get to do whatever you want to do, right? But when you have that conviction, when the Holy Spirit is telling you, like, no, you're not doing that. There's no room for debate. You literally have to, and that's the thing, that's what it means to take your cross on every single day. We're supposed to be dead to these things. We don't even live for ourselves anymore, you know what I mean? So it's like, I could say no to certain things. Obviously in the past, I've done like some campaigns that now I'm just like, ouch, you know what I mean? But I don't condemn myself
At all.
for back then, you know? I was walking, I was lukewarm, I was whatever. But now that I know better, it's like when you've seen some things, you can't unsee them. So when you know where God is calling you to, just like being in your feminine, it's like there's some things, it's almost like there's some things you just can't even do.
Yeah, because
it just doesn't that
yes,
woman, you know?
It goes away from your values. It doesn't align with the things that you believe in.
I guess to say no, and it's fine. Sometimes it might, because I feel like now things are such on like a smaller scale, so it's not as daunting. It doesn't hurt that much, but I feel like eventually, like when we're like bigger creators and like when there's money involved, it's gonna be one of those things where you literally have to like die to it. God's like, yeah, it's $100,000, but you're not doing it.
Yeah, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be painful.
Yeah, and guys, we're even talking about like just like underwear or like crude things. What if God's telling you like, oh, you're not even doing that. It doesn't have anything to do with underwear. It's just, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Because that, oh my God, for things like that, I will struggle.
Yeah.
I will absolutely struggle just because it will be like, but God, why?
Why?
Like this thing is not going against anything, so why? That's why.
Yeah.
But
he sees what we can, and I feel like during the moment we won't get it. But like I feel like it's after the fact, then we're like, okay, so this is what you meant. This is why I shouldn't have done that. But it's like you get an email, boom. Oh, let's use I don't know, Mac, for example.
Yeah.
You want to do a campaign for them. You're a beauty creator. You align like with what they're doing. And it's like, it's just a regular campaign. It's $100,000. And the Holy Spirit's like, no, you're not doing it.
Pain.
Jesus!
Pain.
That is just what, again, it comes with the territory of loving him, right? Because guys, we're not, like, it's free will. You could do whatever you want at the end of the day, right? You could choose to obey him. You could choose not to obey him. But at the end of the day, I feel like there's the fruit of obedience. It produces something in you. It does. And he's always going to reward your obedience, right? We need to obey.
We definitely do. It's very hard. I won't lie.
It's a hard one.
It's also something I very much struggle with. But every time I've disobeyed God, it might not even happen in a year, 2 years. It always comes. So you guys, let's just listen to what God is saying.
Yeah. That's so funny. And I think my final prompt, just in relation to the topic, is when it comes to relationships, is there a fear of being seen in the in-between? Okay, let me explain myself better. Basically, obviously, no one's perfect, right? And so you get into a relationship with also an imperfect person. And then there's that pruning process. There's that learning about each other, you know, that stuff. Like, that in between, like, are you scared to show are you vulnerable enough to show your partner that side of yourself, of you becoming less selfish, less this and that, and you know what I mean? Or like learning how to love them, how they want to be loved, not just how you learned to love in the past.
Yeah. I think for any relationship to work, you definitely have to be patient. You definitely have to have compassion, and you definitely have to be ready to learn and unlearn some things. And I always say, or based off of experience, relationships have been like a mirror to me and the things that I need to work on. Everyone thinks they are healed until you get into a relationship.
Yeah. And people are different too.
Exactly. That is the real test of your patience.
The test of feeling.
I won't say I'm scared of the in-between when it comes to relationships, because I feel like if you're going into a relationship, getting to know the person and, you know, trying to figure things out is part of that process, because you guys are coming from two completely different backgrounds, two completely different experiences, and trying to merge into one. It's going to be different. It's going to be hard at the beginning. Like, when the honeymoon phase even passes, you guys are going to be at each other's necks, because it's like, damn, so this is who you really are. This is who you really are. Like, this is how you deal with it. Are you for real? This is how you deal with conflict. Like, it's going to be hard. But I think with relationships too, both parties have to be willing. You yourself cannot do that work on your own, right? You cannot want to get to know somebody and get to understand them, and they are not willing to do the same for you. It has to be a both parties thing. I would say I'm not scared of that in between anymore. Okay. I just have learned a lot.
This really is the best teacher.
Yes, I've learned that I have to be more compassionate with my partner, especially as a firstborn daughter. Ooh. It's happening. I think we tend to not have a lot of patience for other people, especially when it's like, but you should know better. You should be able to do this. And we ourselves, we have areas where we are even falling short too. But it's easy for us to say, oh, he's not doing this well, like he's not where I need him to be, he's not doing this, he's not doing this. And then again, I'm not excusing bad behavior, I'm not talking about extremes. You get the extremes like cheating and abuse, I'm not talking about that. But when it comes to like minor character flaws, I don't think we tend to give grace and time and compassion and understanding that this person is also human as me. So I think that's one thing I've learned as well, to be able to give my partner a space to be and learn and give him this space to grow and change and be more compassionate and not be a mommy.
Mommy, I'm not your mommy.
I'm not your mommy. Yeah, I'm not scared to be seen in relationships. And again, I think it just ties that back to every single thing I said. Like, it is a journey and you have to take it as this is a part of it. This is not separate from the journey. Fear to be seen equates to toughness that comes with things, the struggle that comes with things. Like, you can't possibly separate those two things. So yeah.
I think for me, when it comes to relationships, I'm very vulnerable. Like, you're gonna see me cry. Like, I'll cry. I feel like with my partner, I'm very open, I'm very vulnerable, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like it depends on the person. There are people who like accept that vulnerability and they're able to be vulnerable back towards you. And so that in between, like the gap closes more and more as you get to know them. So,
but I don't think anyone that's not willing to be vulnerable should be in a relationship. That's just me though.
Clock it.
Like, if you haven't got to that point where you can be vulnerable, and again, I have sympathy for people who don't have the capacity to be vulnerable. I'm not saying that, but then I think you shouldn't take that into a relationship. No. Yeah. You should work on that and then go into it, because for a relationship to work, it is a non-negotiable. You need to be vulnerable.
You need to be vulnerable. There's strength, guys. Even just back to where we started. There's strength in vulnerability, and I feel like that's something that's so feminine, and that's something that women should own. Like, you don't have to be this tough, especially being firstborn daughters. You don't have to be this tough, hyper independent. Like, but then again, I feel like it depends on your partner, because if you want someone where you feel safe to be vulnerable, not someone who's gonna weaponize that against you. Because there's a lot of guys where you tell them something. That's why, guys, never tell a man your past. It may be controversial, but I feel like some people use that against some women.
It's true.
They use it against you. So
it's true.
If you're gonna take something today,
it's true.
Discernment. Jesus knows your past. That's enough, and He's forgiven you, and He's, you know what I mean? I don't know.
At the same time, again, I think that has come out from it. That saying has come out from a place of fear and hurt. Because if you are with a right partner, if your partner is a good man, but that's the thing though, we shouldn't have to have those statements and those things. If people just acted right, if people were good, genuine people, we shouldn't say things like, oh, let's not tell our partners about our past and stuff like that, because we're doing that so that we can keep ourselves protected. And I understand that, and I agree with it. I'm just saying, like, it's just because like people are no good anymore.
I think though, it's like when you meet someone, you're so madly in love. You tell them everything, they'll accept you. Do you think they're Jesus?
That's the thing.
And then it gets to a point. It could be 3 years down the line. It could be 4 years down the line, and then there's someone's like weaponizing something against you. Guys, no. So I guess, like, long story short, don't be scared to be seen in the in-between. It's a process. Wherever you are and wherever you're trying to get to, that in-between is a process. And for me, honestly, I've learned to love the journey, especially when it comes to fitness. That's where I've really been able to be vulnerable of being scared of being seen in the in-between. Because obviously we have goals. We have our body goals, we have our health goals. And when you're posting that, trying to get to your goal, there's that in-between of the losing the weight, if it's for some people, of the toning, of the just adopting a habit, making this fitness life a discipline. It's hard, but for me, no matter how many times I fall off, I always come back. That grind, that passion you have for something, you just have to keep showing up, keep being consistent. And I'm telling myself this because, like, I need to just like do the work, because in order to get to where I want to, you have to do the work. The virtual woman, she puts in the work willingly, right? And so if you find something you're passionate about, be it anything, feel like you need everything before you start. Don't feel like you need to gain all this knowledge, buy all these things. We're just talking about just do all these things before you start. Okay, maybe when I buy everything everyone's recommended for me, then I can post a video. Maybe I need the latest gear, camera equipment, all these things. But if you just start now, lean into God. Let Him give you that creativity. Let Him give you everything He needs to give you.
With a lot of people that you might see that, oh, this person has the best relationship with God, or this person is now a great influencer, they're doing so well, this person has the body that I want. So all those people went through this stage that you're at.
That's right.
They were scared of being seen. But I think what separates people that are still living under that fear and people that have gotten to the point where you think you want to be, the difference is those people persevered regardless of the fear. They pushed on regardless of the fear. And when I speak to some people that I think are doing where I want to be, a lot of them are still fearful.
Yeah. There's because there's that high to amount to, like, people chasing for the next thing that you don't even get to enjoy the journey.
Exactly.
And that's one thing I've learned to love is the journey. Like, no matter how many times I have to restart, have to redo something, like this whole social media coming back, it's like restarting for me. Fitness journey. Let's say you fall for 2 weeks, restarting because your weight, you know, you're not gonna be able to like lift as much. Yes, my love. You're not gonna be able to like lift as much as whatever. It's like I've fallen in love with like starting over and over again and like just enjoying the process, because that's when that's where fortitude is built. That's where consistency is built in the journey, in the in-between. And I feel like at the end of the day, like what we're chasing it's a journey. It's like there's always going to be something else. Okay, I want to hit 50K. You hit 50K. What's next? 100K. There's no end. So why don't we enjoy the journey? So that in between is actually just our lifelong journey. So guys, we actually posted on our Instagram. Okay, I think I got a few. The prompt was, what does being in your feminine mean to you? And some of the responses I got was, someone says to me, it means being more loving and empathetic towards myself. I feel like that's so real, because in order to be in your feminine, you need to love yourself. Because the thing is, a lot of women, they do that for other people, but not for themselves. They're like more loving towards their siblings, their lovers, their everything. But when it comes to themselves, there's like no grace for them. And I feel like that's one place we need to give ourselves grace, is like to love ourselves. Because how are you going to love someone else if you don't love yourself? How are you poor when you don't have, when you're running on empty? You can't. And someone says soft, girly energy, period. There are just some times where like you just want to be in a pink, soft girl, soft life. Soft life.
Yeah.
Amen.
Softness. And for me, softness does not even only translate to the stereotypical things that a girl should have, like pink shoes or like all the things, because I'm not the biggest lover of pink myself. I think softness could just be like just slow living, even like not rushing through things. Intentionality, like saying, okay, today I'm going to rest my head, I'm going to read a book, I'm not going to do things that make me feel tense and stuff like that.
No grind, no hyper independency.
Today if people offer me help, I will take the help. Like stuff like
that. Self-life, and also for me, one thing I prioritize when it comes to like that soft girly energy is self-care. Because I never was one to like do, guys, I used to tell my friends I do my nails once a year. Girl, when I told my nail tech that, she literally was like, girl, what? And I don't know, I was just never feminine. Like I just was never that way. Like I wasn't built that way. But I'm coming into that, and so for me it's like getting my nails done, maybe it's like once a month, like getting like a wax appointment, just like good about myself, like doing things I love, things I enjoy, like going to the gym. For me, that's being in my feminine, because I love it. It's just like something I love. So I think just in relation to what that person said, is just like loving myself, girly energy, spending energy on myself, putting time into myself, like developing myself when it comes to books, reading, stuff like that.
And that's what I was telling you. Femininity looks different for everyone.
That's right.
You should be able to define it for yourself. Don't let them define what femininity should look like for you. It's okay if you don't like getting your nails done. You can just keep your nails prim and proper. Like that's it. Like that. It's okay if you don't like certain hairstyles. Like it's okay if you don't like the color pink. It's okay if you don't like the things that society has deemed feminine. I don't think that necessarily takes away from your femininity. It doesn't take away from you. So just be able to define what femininity looks like for you and walk with that.
I agree. And someone says being what God created us to be provided for, to be cared for, being in peace. That is I feel like for me that just encapsulates everything, because God provides for you. God is like a girl dad. So it's like almost like he provides for us. And that's something we want, even with our partners, someone like that provides for us, someone that cares for us, and being cared by, like your friends. because like you want them to pour into you, right? Your friends, your parents, and like just being in peace. I feel like that's the most feminine thing ever. It's just being in peace, like being in peace with everything. Like nothing stirs you up. Like there could be a chaos, there could be a storm, but it's like that peace that surpasses understanding. You have that rain comes, sunshine, whatever. You have peace.
And I really want to be like that.
Yeah,
like I think I really struggle with that.
And that comes with gentleness. Like
I think I really struggle with like when things are out of proportion.
You're just
crazy.
Like you crash out.
Yeah,
bro, guys, there are days where for 3 days straight I'm just crashing out, running in bed.
Like I really envy women that when things happen, they're just like calm.
There's like, a strength in that.
Yes, guys. They're just like, okay, this has happened. Like they take their moment to, they take their moments to like grieve or process or whatever. But the way they handle things is so like, okay, now that this is over, what is the solution? Yeah. Because with me, I have to crash out. I have to be like, and done. Yes, and then I have to be like, oh my God, my life is ending.
No, it's tough. I feel like coming into that, like that place that God wants us to be when it comes to like being feminine, it takes a lot of grace. It takes a lot of strength because there's some wars you'll face. Right? In order to be that gentle, selfless person, it's not easy, especially when it's not natural to you. When you're not someone who cares, when you're someone who's selfish, to be able to get to a point where you're gentle, where you're patient, where you're like long-suffering. Nice. And then the final person says self-care, nails, hair, facials, go into the gym, period. I just said that. Yeah. And I love that. And I guess what would be your advice for someone who is, I guess, navigating a space of where they feel scared to be seen in the in-between in any area or facet of their life? Like what advice you have for them that, you know, it ties into also being feminine, being in their feminine? Okay,
I'll say number one thing for sure, just take it easy.
Definitely a very scary place to be in, but you have to be easy on yourself and you need to be proud of yourself and proud of the stage that you're at. In the season that you're in, understand that it's just a season. So be easy on yourself during the season. Trust God in this season of your life. Put your worries, put your fears, put it on God. Put it on God because He's really the only one that can help you carry that weight. I would also say like I know it's easier said than done, but remember your why for whatever it is that you're doing. So if that is a job, if that is starting a business, content creation, like just anything, remember your why. And I think that will help you in those moments when you feel like you want to give up or you feel like you're stagnant and you can't move because of your fear. Remember your why and remember that you have everything that you need to move forward. Like sometimes when we are when we're in the in-between, it feels like we're going to be there forever, but that's not the case. This is, like I said, this is just a season. So yeah, you got this, and yeah, just take it easy.
My advice for those who are scared of being seen in that in-between is that you really just have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because the in-between is where you build strength, is where you build resilience, is where God fortifies you with everything you need in your arsenal to be able to take on what you're going to meet on the other side. The in-between is scary. It's very messy sometimes, but we need to learn to love the journey. It's not always about the destination. The journey is very much important. And obviously keep God as number one, because He is the reason for everything. I want His presence to be your main focus, because it's in His presence that we get everything we need to get through that in-between. It's in His presence that we become who we're trying to be. And I don't want us to take that for granted. Comfortable being uncomfortable. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and also put in the comments what you feel being in your feminine means? And also, are you scared of being seen in an in-between? Do you have any advice? Drop it all in the comment section, and I will see you soon. Mwah! Love you. Bye.